Hello friends, today I'm gonna show you how to retouch your portrait in Lightroom, make some color correction, and then how to smooth the skin in Photoshop afterwards, and you can make an image from this to this kind of. Okay guys, let's get started. So at first what we will do, we will just edit in Lightroom first, then we will go to the Photoshop. First we will do the color correction and tonal correction in the Lightroom, and then we will go to the Photoshop to smooth the skin and other correction like skin repair and other furthermore color correction. First of all, we have to think what is the theme, how the image will be expressed, how the emotions will be expressed. Will it be soft, dreamy look, or will it be cinematic look, or more dramatic look, more contrasty look, or more vibrant look, or just wanna show some low key effect or dark effect or high key or brighter effect. You have to think about that first of all, and then you will go with the editing. So there is different process of different types of images, different theme of images. So first of all, we will make this image we'll give it some effect of which you will see in cinema and drama. So we will make it some dramatic look, more contrasty, because as you can see this image is a bit more flat. So let's start. First of all, what we will do, we will just down the exposure a little bit. This is the exposure slider which will bring down the if you drag the slider left, it will bring down the exposure, overhead exposure of the image. So we will just make it -1. This is good. That's okay for this, but as you can see, when we underexpose the image bit, the eyes, the part of under the eyebrow are a bit dark. So what we'll do, we'll just increase the shadow to make up the darkness. Now what we'll do, we'll just go to the white cell. This is the very important slider which will create much more dramatic look in your image, which will bring some contrast in the white part. And as you see the white slider, it means it will just bring the light. It is just affect the area of the image which is directly exposed by a light, which is directly illuminated by any light. So this is the part which is the part where the light is illuminating her face, and this is the part which is just shadow part, or this is the part where the black slider comes handy, and this is the shadow part. The shadow part just increase just open up the shadow, and this white slider just increase the available light in her face, which is hitting in her face. By this you can also use the contrast slider, but the contrast slider will make the white much whiter, and make the black much black, or much more black, or much darker. So we're not using the contrast. You double click the name, and the slider will fix in its default number. So now we just use the white slider here, and just check. This is the highlight clipping marker, where if you go too much, you can see there's a white triangle, which means this part of the area image is black. This part of the image is just white, just whitewashed. There is no information at all. So you have to be careful to look in this marker, and just don't go too much far. This is okay. 53. That's I hope it's cool for now. Okay, we will see later what we can do. Now what we do, just increase the black slider, just drag it to the right, because you can see this is the shadow clipping. The black part of this image, this area has no information, that's all. This is totally dark, so I have to increase it a little bit. So this is gone, I can see. And for the cinematic look, you have to open up the shadow to the darker part of the image a bit, and then bring down the highlight part of the image a bit. That's all. Don't go too much, that will look pretty muddy type of effect in the face. highlight, but this is okay. And just let's increase the white point a little bit more. Just press the Alt button. This is the screen goes dark, as you can see. If you press the Alt button and increase the white slider, drag it left or drag it right, white, and drag it to the right, and then you can see where the image is clipping, where the white part of the image is blowing out. So okay, so I think that's okay. That's just touching the clipping. This is the 63. You can see the before and after just by pressing the backslash button, or there is two slash, forward slash and backslash. This is the slash which is just under the backspace button of your, or over the enter button of your keyboard in Windows. Look at that. Just press the backslash button and you can see the before. This is before and this is after. You can see much more contrast in this image. There is much more, but you can see by why we increase the contrast, we just bring some much more unwanted color in this image. Here you can see some red and yellowish part. Here also some purplish color is introducing automatically because we increase the contrast. So we will do what thing, we will just decrease the saturation a little bit, but it will do what, it will just decrease the overall saturation of the image. The image is gone pretty dull, so we will increase the vibrance to manage it. This looks good. Now you can see it again, before and after. The color is approximately same as it was before. So now what we'll do, you can increase, you can go to the here HSL tab, and you can use the Luminance tab to increase the light of different color. Like if you in human face, mostly the orange and yellow color are there in the human face, so you can increase the luminance of the orange. Look at the brightness is going up of her face, so mostly the brightest part, and the darkest part you can increase the red, but not quite doing pretty well. You can see this part. You can leave the lips for now. Just look at this part of the nose, what is it is doing. Look at that. You can increase the red also, but you can also decrease it as you need. You just increase the red bit little bit. Now we will just go to the saturation and increase the color of the red, increase the intensity of the color, just increase a bit. Yes, okay. So that leaves the saturation of a color, leaves color is up, and it looks good. So this is it for now. As you can see, the eyes are still a bit dark, so what we can do, we can increase shadow much. You can increase the shadow more as you want, but for this I think we will just decrease it a little bit, so that the contrast looks very well with this, and just decrease it a little bit. 63, 60, okay, 57 or 60, that's good. And then just increase the black. This is the key part, you can use it also 60. The black part of the image is the black part of the darkest part of the image gets more brighter. So for this I will increase the vibrance a bit, and then it's okay. You decrease the saturation, minus 35 is good, and this is okay. You can bring out the highlight part also is 18. That's okay. Now you can see the before and after. Look at that. In before there is some clipping. In the initial image there is some clipping in the dark part. So we it is gone now. It is the image of now. This is gone now. So now this is good, and saturation of the red color we increased it, and the luminance and the orange we increased a bit. So we can also increase the orange color here also, because the color of the skin is pretty little dull, so we can increase the yellow. And now what we'll do, we will just bring some split tuning. Split tuning is very useful to bring any cinematic look. There is two slider. What it will do, it will just this highlight part. This will introduce color in the highlight, and this slider, this couple of slider introduce color in the shadow part. And this is the balance. How much color will be in highlight or how much color will be in shadow. It's totally depend on which side of slider, which side you are dragging the slider. It will, if you drag the slider left side, it will the right side will be much more, so the shadow part will be, the most of the part will be shadow, and if you drag the most of the part will be slider highlight. So the high colors of highlight will be much more into the much more area, will cover more area than the shadow. So let's just go into the real application. Just first we will just decrease the saturation a little bit, -40, just the saturation. Now we will introduce color through the split tuning. Just highlight, we will just introduce the orange color. Just go to the saturation all the way up, and just see which color you are introducing. You are introducing this color, this reddish orange yellow. Now we decrease the higher saturation slider. It will decrease the saturation of the color. We don't need that much intensity. I hope that's 26 is okay. You can, okay, this is okay, I think. And just go to the shadow, and we'll just increase it to maybe 10. We need red color in the shadow, just but very little. Just make it also 10. Look at that. This is the shadow part. If you increase the saturation all the way, this is the all shadow part. The darkest part of the image will affect this color. This is the red, and the brightest part of this image, this is the color. This is the color. Look at that. The highlighted part of the image took this color, and the darkest part of the image. And this is the balance. If you go this way, look, the red is increasing, because this is right side is the shadow. The shadow part is increasing in this image. And the image takes much more. The shadow part covers much more area than the highlight. If we increase drag the slider right side, then the highlight part is taking over on the shadow. The balance is I think 50-50 is okay in the 0, and I will decrease the saturation. This is okay, and this is also decrease the saturation of this also. I can increase this a little bit. In face we will introduce some color. This is, as you can see, this is, you can just on or off the effect. Just look, this is pretty dull, and I introduce color. So this is how it's works, the split tuning. As you can see, we are pretty done in Lightroom. Now we will go to export this image and go to the Photoshop to tweak in there much more color correction or skin smoothing. There is some glitches, if there is some texture problem in the skin, we will fix it in Photoshop. And here you can do one thing much more. You can use the brush here also, like this hair strand. Look at that part here, the light is directly hitting there, so the color is need to be more vibrant, more bright. What we can do, you just take an adjustment brush, you can click here, and you can increase the size here, and you can increase the feather, means softness of the brush, and you can decrease or into the flow. As you used in Photoshop, the flow, it works the same way. The auto mask option is another thing. We will discuss it in another tutorial. So this is, I think the size is this okay. The size is okay, and feather of this is okay. Size just increase it a bit more. Feather increase it a little more. Now we'll just, this is the setting. When you use the brush, this setting will be applied on that brushstroke. So just make sure that everything is in default value, and just brush here, just here, where the highlights are, at the brightest part of the hair, just paint there. You don't need on the darkest part. Okay, now we increase the exposure because the brush stroke is done. You can click in the, you can mouse over on this area, on this circular circular icon on the image, and you can see where the brushes are applied. Now we just increase the exposure. Look at that. If you increase the exposure all the way, look at that. This is the brightest. We don't need that. We just increase this much. Just very little we need here. We don't need too much exposure, and increase the highlight a little bit. Increase the vibration. Okay, saturation. Increase the saturation bit. Okay. Then a little bit of exposure. You can also open the shadow a little bit, because this is the darkest part, so the darkest part of the image overall. So you can, I think that's okay. So just press done. This is okay. Look at that. Look at that before and after. Also, you can bring some clarity in those part of our earrings. You can take another adjustment brush and just paint over this part. Just increase the exposure a little bit. Little bit exposure, little bit of clarity, because this is the metal thing. So increasing the clarity will help here. Open up some shadow and highlight also. A white part definitely. I think that's good. If you want to just press done. If you want to go to this brush again, this area, this you can click on this, on the circle, and then you can into the effect of this of the application of this brush, and now you can increase and decrease anything as you want. You can increase the white part, the white point slider a little bit, and that's okay. I think that's cool. Okay, this is done in the Lightroom. Now we will export the image. Just go to the file and this export. You can export in different format as you want. I'm just exporting it in JPEG. You can export in PSD also, quality 100, and just sRGB or Adobe RGB or Pro Photo RGB is better choice. Maybe Adobe RGB is good for me. And resize the image as you like. I am exporting it 1920 in the longer size and resolution 300 dB. And now we will export it, and then it will open it in the Photoshop and do further editing. Okay guys, now as you can see, we have just opened the image in the Photoshop. Now we will edit it in Photoshop. First of all, we will just repair the image, just fix some problem in her skin, this types of problem, this type of acne or pimples. We will just remove them, and then clear some stray hair, just like this one. Okay, just like first of all you have to think what you will do in her face, and then you can go further, just like this acne, this this place. So this hair and hair, they are maybe this one, and this part, this her fingers. We have to clear this and this. Maybe this part of the we have to clear. So first of all, we will clear out the image, then we will process on skin smoothing. Okay, let's get started. Just remove the layer. Now we just make another copy of the background in case we need the backup copy. So always do this, and then we will just take the clone stamp tool, and then I hope you all know how to use it. Just press the Alt button and click desired location, and then press the paint with the brush, just like that, then just make this make the flow 100%, make the brush a little softer, then just like that. For it's okay, it seems like that. Just on this part of the image, we will change it to the patch tool. This is very good tool to just select the part, just minus this part, and just select the part tightly. And then just drag this part here, just the desired position from where you want to copy. So just copy this part of the image will be copied here and will blend with the surrounding. So this is okay, it seems, but there is a little bit of line here. So you can what will do, just use the healing brush tool, just Alt and press here, and just like that, just paint it with to make the blending flawless. So this is okay, I think. Now we will take care of this hair. Just press Alt here or Alt this side, whatever you like. I have to think which part of the image will be best matched with the current part. Now just paint with the sample, and paint. Also clear the marks on her skin. We will also clear this. Whatever stray hair you think it's disturbing, you can also keep that. Just if you want it looking good, aesthetically it's pleasing, you can keep the hair. If it looks, if you think it looks bad, it's disturbing, then you will surely remove. It's up to you. As you know, Photoshop is not a technical tool. It's a technical tool, but not as much as it is artistic. So you have to just think as an artist point of view, is it looking good or bad. Now I will fast forward it for the time's sake. That's okay. Now we will do a process which is which called frequency separation. I think you also know that. So we just make another copy of the layer. We keep it another background copy and then color and then copy another texture. And then we'll what we'll do, just disable this layer and then select the color layer and go to the filter and go to blur, Gaussian blur. We'll just make it 0 and just go to the number where you think the textures are gone, not showing the textures of the skin. I think in my image 2.3 2.6 it's okay. Then select the texture layer and go to image, apply image, select the color layer here, color. So this is should be subtract, and the setting here scale 2 and offset 128. This will be same, scale 2 and offset 128. Now we will just okay. So this is the texture layer, this is the color layer. As you know, this is the frequency separation. You should know the process. If you don't know, you can view other tutorial in the YouTube. There are lots of tutorial about frequency separation. And we select the texture layer. This is looking like a high pass layer, a layer with applied a high pass filter like this one. This is applied, it seems, but it's not. We just go to linear light to see the image. Now you will just select the both layer and group it. Now you can make it invisible to see the below, the layer below, and the again you can see there is no change because this layer is a single image. You can disable this now. This is a single image, and in this group there are two images, which is one is the texture. It contains only the texture, and it contains only the color. So the textures are in this layer, so it is separated. Now what we'll do, whatever we do in this layer, the process will not involve the texture. It will only affect the color of the skin. Now we'll just select this lasso tool. You can see polygonal lasso tool, anything, just lasso tool is good as that. Just select this part. Look at that, not much more. The feather is 3 pixels. We will just you can press the Q and see how much hard the selection is. We need a soft selection, so press Q again. Now Control D, and we will make it like 10 pixel feather here. And then again select, press the Q. Yeah, that's the soft selection. Now just go to the filter, blur, Gaussian. Whatever selection blur number you did, the same number is good. If you just go to the preview, look at that, how it is softening. If you want much more, then you can go further and further. Just then look at that. This is black. This is going black. This type 40 or this is too much. Now you can go to maximum 19 or 20. When it's going, it's totally flat. No information of light and shadow. This is pretty bad, so you have to keep it under 10, under 8. It's okay. I think it's maybe 7. It's okay. Yeah, okay, 7. Now look at that, this part is same. Control Alt F or Control F if you using the old version of Photoshop CS 5 or 6. From Photoshop CC there is Alt Control F, which is the last used filter with the shortcut of Control Alt F. Just select area, Control Alt F. If you select and blur and then find that the blur is not okay, then you can always go to select and then also filter and then blur and then Gaussian blur, and you can change the blurriness. You can change it 4 or maybe 3.4. Okay, so that's how this is how it will work. Selection, Control of F. Near the hard edges like hair, eyebrows, like hair, like eye lines, the small blur number is recommended, like 3.4. It's a little bit more, like 5. Okay. This glossiness will be disappeared. Just Control Alt F. Look at that. Everywhere where is the glossy effect, you have to just blur it much. Don't do this type of thing, because this will take the color of this leaves red and this yellow and it will blend each other. That's not recommended. Always stay with the same color. If you want to clean the leaves, then just select the leaves and then Control F or Control Alt F. Just select the leaves. It will clean this leaves only. Just select this type. This is to remove to decrease the level of eye bags. She has lots of eye bags and under eye lines. This is pretty bad. So just Control Alt F. This is good. Don't use much here because it will make it flat and it will look unnatural. I think we need another blur effect here. I think that's good. Yeah, that's good. Just this part is glossy, pretty glossy in this part here. Yes. Look at that. If you think the texture is disappearing too much, there is a way I will show you how to bring some of the texture, but the skin tone will be totally smooth. I just made it made the blur too much. You can make it very little. That will be good. It will be natural. But I just want to show you the effect. That's why I made too much blur. So this is it. The face is, look at that. Just select the original layer and then disappear the group and look at that. How much glossy her face was. Now look at that. the wrinkle on her cheeks also disappeared a bit. That's cool. So what we'll do, it is just to bring some texture back. We will do one thing. You can just copy the texture layer again. Look at that. It brings already some texture. So what we will do, just minimize some. It will minimize the opacity to a little bit, 40%, 30-40%. This will it bring the texture a little bit more, and it made the eye sharper more. So what I'll do just Now we will find some more problem in her skin, to go to black and white, and then to bring the black, red and yellow slider way down, so you can find the part of her face which is glossy. Look at that. You can just change the yellow also, you can see. Okay, look at this part. I need to blur this part, show the color, and then just select the little part, just not too much selection, just select the part where you think it is glossy, like this part. This highlight and shadow transition is pretty sharp, so we'll just bring it down. Look at this part, this part. Just to blend it. I think that's okay. Just remove the no. Look at it. You can just select the layer, just take the patch tool and then that's okay. Okay then. Work with that. We'll just change it another way. Just take another layer, take the brush Just take the color from here and just go to the 2%. Place F5 to bring the brush setting panel. Check the transform button and paint pressure in both opacity and flow jitter. Now take the color from here and just brush it. Change the color. It will match the color and the shadow part of the image, so the darkness doesn't bother us much. Like this area, the black spot under the eyes will be gone. I think that's okay. We just make sure to bring keep the layer color, skin color, tint. Make sure to keep the layer under the texture layer. I think that's cool. You can change the color of this part of the layer also. Select the layer, keep selecting, and then just take a color from nearest area, so it looks natural. And color from this position or something, it will look bad. Since the image is done, you can change, you can download the texture of this part also. But I think it's not looking too bad. But just try, just take the patch tool and you can do this. It's not looking good. It's, I think, okay. Just this thing. Now we will you can make some also bring some contrast also here, or just like go to the curve and shoot the shadow, just left side point, the shadow point should be, the black point should be a little bit of up and then make it little down like this. So there will be contrast in the image, but the darkest part of the image should be a little bit up, like not this, like this. This is bring the cinematic look that you want, and then it is just down, and then it is just up, but the brightest part of the image should be down a bit, like this. I think that's cool. Now don't make too much bright, it is, I think, is okay. You can make the green part also. You can go to the green there's three color, red, green, blue. Go to the green and then just bring a little bit above, just in the shadow part, because this part of the part is not, it's in the shadow and face is in the highlight. So just down the highlight, because this will minus the green from the, remove the green from the face, but it will bring much green to the background. So we will also bring some layer masks so that there is no green at all in the face. Just bring some red in the face. Okay. I hope not much red is needed. I think just delete the point, maybe some little under, just bring down the red a little bit from the highlight. It looks good. Let's go to the blue and bring down a little bit of blue also. From the highlight part, and the shadow part, bring a little bit of blue. Introduce a little bit of blue. I think that's okay. If over this, if you want to bring some more contrast, you can try one thing. You can just go to the gradient map. This part is for the shadow part of the image. Like if you do green, the green will be in the shadow, like here, like the background, just yellowish green. Just keep the yellowish green. We'll make it black, totally black, and this is part of the highlight part. This will not totally black. We'll keep this color. This color. This is 141414. This will be the totally darkest part of the image, and this also. So a little bit of this type of color. Bring it here too much, and bring it here too much. A little bit of this type of I think that is. Just and then you try different blend mode, luminosity or soft light. The soft light is good also, overlay is also good, but I think soft light is okay. Just bring the fill little bit down, and then look at that. This is for the contrast. If you don't need contrast, then I think that's okay. I think it's cool, but the eyes will be much more darker. The cinematic look. This is the cinematic curve. Okay guys, so this is it. If you like my tutorial, please subscribe the channel so you can get future updates. And if you want to ask anything, if you have to say anything about the tutorial, give me a comment in the comment box. I will surely revert you, and give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Thanks again. Have a nice day. See you later.